Welcome to Teed Up Sports Podcast, your new go-to pod for sports, entertainment, culture, and humor. Today on Teed Up, we look into Week 3 of the NFL, talk about the Thursday night football game, and get into our best bets. I'm Brock, and I'm teed up. All right, we are back with the 29th episode of Teed Up Sports Podcast. No Jarny today for us. He's busy. He's in Ireland doing his thing right now, but we still got the rest of the gang here. We're going to recap the preview, or we're going to preview the Week 3 NFL slate. It's looking pretty interesting this week. We got a couple big spreads. Like right now, the Pats are minus 23 over the Jets. We have the Cowboys minus 22.5 over the Dolphins. Like this is stuff that you don't typically see in the NFL, but teams are just like openly being garbage right now. And let's start off with the Jets in the Monday night recap. The Browns kind of dismantled them. Yeah, just total slaughter. The Jets, Trevor Siemian got hurt. He was the backup quarterback, so they had to put in the backup quarterback, which was Luke Falk, which is basically just he's disgusting. Like you do not want that guy starting any sort of game. But he was in there. The Browns actually probably should have won this game by like 40. Instead, they won 26-3, I believe. This was an easy bet for us. We pretty much all had the Browns some shape or form. Jarny, though, however, had Baker touchdowns over 1.5. Didn't get that one. That was tough. You got to get that one, but he didn't get that.
Jarny luck.
Yeah, that really is Jarny luck. They should have won. They kind of kicked a lot of field goals. And Jamal Adams, he was all over Instagram, unfollowing the Jets. He's facing a lot of heat right now just because he's kind of like quitting on the team, which wasn't a good look at all for fans of the Jets. And I mean, it's not a good look for his brand. He kind of wants people to think that he is not the problem at hand. You know, he wants people to be like, oh, Jamal Adams is good, but the rest of the team sucks. It's just not going to happen. It's a team game. But who do you guys think is worse right now, the Jets or the Dolphins? They both in their current forms.
Dolphins by a landslide.
I got the Dolphins got to be worse.
Yeah,
I mean, the Jets they just got hit with a lot of unfortunate events. I mean, first you got starting quarterback. He gets mono. I don't know how that even really happens at this age. Then you got Trevor Siemian. He goes down in the game. And you got your third string quarterback coming in, Luke Falk. He had no idea what was really going on. That was, I believe, his first game ever. You could tell he was shook. It was just done for the Jets. It was pretty much doomed. Like a lot of unfortunate circumstances. I'd say that the Dolphins is definitely worse than the Jets.
I'd say right now, though, like all things considered, granted the Jets, unfortunate that they had injuries and stuff, but at their current team, I'd say the Jets are worse because the Dolphins, think about it, they still have Ryan Fitzpatrick at quarterback. I'm taking him over.
That's what makes it worse, though. Dolphins have all their starters, and they got 102 points scored on them in 2 games.
I'm saying, at current form, though. Current form, both teams, the Jets, the way that they are right now, the Dolphins, the way that they are right now, I think the Jets, are probably worse. Because think about it, tough losses to the Bills, and, obviously, that was with their starters and stuff. But the Browns, they kind of hung in there defensively. Just offense wasn't getting going at all. The Dolphins, they lost to 2 elite teams.
Bro, they got 102 points scored on them.
Nah, that's pretty bad.
I don't care what team it is. In 2 games, you got over 100 points scored on you, and you scored 10.
One Jets blew it.
Yeah, Jets had their.
That was with their starters, though. Yeah,
that was with their starters too. Yeah, bro, you still gotta say the Dolphins. That's just embarrassing. To they're people are saying people are saying that there's
the Jets play the Pats. This weekend, and the Dolphins already played them, so we're going to see how the Jets fare against them, and that might be the real decider right there. Let you know who's worse.
It's going to be bad.
I don't think the Jets are able to score a point with Luke Falk at quarterback. That's bad. He looked atrocious.
That boy is looking horrible.
Yeah.
Bell coming in, I don't know what he was doing, just dishing it to Le'Veon. Right when he came in, they made like 4 straight runs.
Yeah, Le'Veon was trying to carry.
You got to feel bad. Le'Veon Bell, he signed that contract to come there, and He posted a tweet how could I be upset? I got so much money. You got my friends and family. When you're tweeting that in the NFL season, your team is bad. You shouldn't even be worried about your friends and family during the NFL season. But it is what it is. Odell Beckham Jr. had an amazing game. Had an 86-yard touchdown slant route run.
Sir.
He's the king of the slant route. That's how it goes. He also had an amazing catch in the first half, one-handed grab. But Baker was kind of missing him all game, but we'll get into that in a little bit. Let's do a Thursday night football preview. We got the Titans and the Jags going head-to-head. Probably the worst Thursday night football game you could possibly put on. You could literally put on any other game on the Sunday slate, and it would be better, but it's just not happening. I mean, I don't know. With the Jalen Ramsey, he's come out and said that he wanted to be traded, but he doesn't want this to interfere with the team, so he's still suiting up tonight, and I'm sure he's still there for the team. I just don't think he wants to be in that situation. No, he's playing tonight.
He's not playing Sunday. No, he said he's not playing two games in 1 week. He's not doing it.
No, he said he's playing tonight. Like he said he's suiting up tonight, and I saw like a bunch of tweets on it.
And he's not playing Sunday or
like next Sunday. Well, he's probably gonna be traded by then anyway. He's probably gonna be out soon. Teams are asking about him. Apparently, there was like an anonymous NFC and AFC team that they were looking for.
Chiefs.
Obviously, the AFC, they want a bigger asking price because they don't want to trade him in the same division. But the NFC, I think it was a first-round and a third-round pick. AFC was 2 first-round picks, which makes sense. You know, they don't want to trade him to like a team like the Chiefs or a team like
to the Chiefs,
or a team like that, or even like the Patriots, God forbid. And you know, they're going to want more for that. But I mean, this game, it's going to be a barn burner. It's not going to be fun to watch at all. You know, I'm interested to see my man Gardner Minshew put in some work. He's probably one of my favorite quarterbacks right now. Not in skill or anything.
Said
like he's
no
just
one ever.
not like I said, not in skill. Just he's just an interesting dude.
Yeah, but you're
he's hilarious. You know, he's doing fucking warm ups in his jock strap and stuff. That shit is hilarious to me. So we're gonna have to wait and see really what this game's about. Last week, last year rather, they played a game like this. I think it was on Monday Night Football, not Thursday night, and it was just equally as terrible. Derrick Henry had like a 99-yard run though for a touchdown, which was pretty insane. That made the game worthwhile. But yeah, we'll see what that's about tonight. Well, you got a prediction for tonight? Who you got winning?
I can care less. I got Jags winning, not because of Minshew, because I don't think he's anything special.
I think Fournette might bug out tonight. I think this is a good spot for him.
I don't want to say done, but until he has like 3 consistent games in a row, like I have no hopes for that kid. But I got Jags winning, I guess. If I had to pick someone, like I said, like Max said, no one's really excited to watch this game. So
they are posting tweets about like the next couple of Thursday night football games and Monday night football games, and every single game like isn't that good. Like most of the games suck, especially because of Big Ben's injury and Drew Brees' injury. You know, the Saints and Steelers are always on primetime, and both those quarterbacks are hurt. Like we're in for a bad couple of primetime games. They might have to flex a couple games out. At least this Sunday's primetime game is pretty good. The Rams-Browns. We'll get into that in a little bit. Let's look at some of the Sunday games, though. Malik, your Chiefs play the Ravens. Do you feel like they could win this game, or do you feel like the Ravens are a little bit of a threat?
I mean, last year when we played them,
have a shootout in this one.
No, it's not going to be a shootout. It's not going to be a shootout. Last year when we played them, we went into overtime. We won by that lucky. I'm going to call it luck. It was a lucky throw to Tyreek Hill. But Ravens defense, I mean, they've always been hard. They've always been like tough. They might not look tough on paper. They might not be the best defense in the league, but they always get the job done when it needs to be done. And that's what they did last year when we almost lost to them. But this year I think it's going to be different. I think we're going to come out strong. We don't have Tyreek Hill, obviously. That's a little bit of an issue, but Mahomes isn't really worried about that. You saw last week, even though it was the Raiders, he was throwing to Demarcus Robinson, McCole Hardman, the rookie, had a touchdown, like a 40, 50-yard touchdown. So, I mean, I got Chiefs winning this by, I don't want to say a landslide, but I don't think it's going to be too tough.
Yeah, I definitely agree. I don't really buy into the Ravens at all. I don't think that defense is any good. And from what I saw with the Cardinals playing against them, the Cardinals could have won that game. Like we talked about in the last show, the Cardinals just didn't really go for it. They didn't really take any risks, and that's Cliff Kingsbury's fault. Mm-hmm. Andy Reid, he's definitely not that kind of coach. But this Ravens defense just really didn't impress me at all. And, you know, I don't really buy into Lamar Jackson. He hasn't had a turnover yet, and he's been basically perfect as a quarterback.
Neither has Mahomes. Mahomes, I believe.
No, he hasn't either. He's just coming.
Stats saying that Lamar Jackson and Patrick Mahomes are the only quarterbacks in the Super Bowl era to have 70-plus completion percentage. With that being said, for like these first 2 games, with that being said, I think the Chiefs are definitely going to take this one, but I think it's going to be a high-scoring game. Might have to look at the over for that game. That might be a good little lock.
That over might be a lock. I could see it. Yeah. The only way I could see it being a high-scoring game is if Lamar Jackson comes out and he's like, because like I mean the Chiefs defense, they suck. We can all agree the Chiefs defense suck. But you're still facing the Chiefs. So Lamar Jackson has to come out like comfortable. You can tell last game when we played last year, he wasn't comfortable. We kind of just like blew a lead. We were up 2 touchdowns and we kind of blew that. If he comes out more comfortable this game, then it could be a blowout because then you're just talking about offense.
I think the main thing for the Chiefs in this game is just, running the football a little bit better. Their past 2 games with the Raiders, their runs weren't really doing anything. The Jaguars game, that was a little different. I mean, that was kind of just that game was over before you knew it. But against the Raiders, at least, they weren't really running the football well. It was literally just Mahomes, basically just dominating on his own because he's capable of doing that. He had so many deep passes for touchdowns and just completely took over the game by himself. But the run was kind of inefficient. I think they kind of need to decide right now whether they are going to roll with Dame or LaShawn McCoy because as of right now, it's kind of like 50-50. They're just kind of giving snaps to both. I don't think they have a real game plan for the run game.
Well, they said that LaShawn McCoy, he's not fully he doesn't know the playbook full yet, so that's why. And he's hurt.
Is he hurt?
Yeah, it's I think it's ankle or something. It's like a mild injury. So obviously they don't want to just overuse him. He's a good running back still. I hope.
Yeah, but
we'll see.
For this Ravens team, I think the Chiefs should, maybe play a little bit more conservative, run the football a little bit more, and then air it out when the time is right, because what they did against the Raiders, just getting touchdowns over the top, I don't think that'll happen against the Ravens, although I do.
Because of that defense.
Nah, but it's not really because of their defense as much as it's just they're an actual team. The Raiders are kind of just a bunch of rookies. Obviously, they're going to get exploited. Yeah. But, I mean, they're playing at Arrowhead. That's the first time they'll play at Arrowhead all year, so season opener for them in Week 3, which is kind of tough for them, but they're 2-0 right now, so, this is a real test for the Ravens because I think as of right now, they're a little bit overhyped. They beat probably 2 of the top 5 worst teams in the league, and, they're only plus 6.5 in this game. I think the Chiefs definitely worth looking to bet. Let's get into the Giants-Bucks. My Giants... a little bit of excitement there because Eli Manning is now benched. They put in Daniel Jones as the starter. I think it's just time. It's not really Eli's fault that we suck. It's really the defense's fault. But at this point, what are you going to play Eli for? He's not going to get better. You know what I mean? He's not going to win you games necessarily single-handedly. So why not take a chance and just play with Daniel Jones, just see what he's capable of. If he sucks, he sucks, it's not a big deal. If he's getting better and, you could start seeing some improvement, and this is just a year where he just practices and learns stuff as a quarterback, good. One thing I will say, I wish they just did this at a home game. I think it's going to be kind of hard for him to start on a road game in the NFL. First start in the NFL on a road, that's kind of tough. And the Bucs, they're off that Thursday night game, so they have a little bit of extra rest. I think really it'll be interesting to see what Daniel Jones can do, but I think the Bucs are going to absolutely torch this defense, man. They have so much weapons on the offensive end. I really do. I would just be absolutely shocked if the Bucs don't win this game by 20 or 21 or at least a touchdown. It would be pretty convincing to me. Daniel Jones, he might be able to do some things, maybe get some scores. If they run Saquon, anything can happen. I think last year Saquon torched the Bucs, which was pretty interesting because they can't really tackle on the defensive end. But, I mean, like I said, the Bucs, they have too much weapons on the offensive end. If you have Mike Evans in fantasy or O.J. Howard, those are must starts because this secondary is it's a disaster, to put it quite simply. Speaking of other quarterback news, we lost Big Ben, we lost Drew Brees, we lost Eli Manning. Eli Manning got benched, but, we're not going to be seeing him anymore. Now Cam Newton is not going to be playing. It's kind of questionable as to why he's out. That it's not really crystal clear. I'd have to assume it has something to do with his shoulder or his elbow his ankle.
But I think it's his shoulder.
Yeah, I don't think the ankle is a real
wasn't the reason
thing,
he was
playing
like
fine.
dog shit. Yeah.
I mean, Cam. I kind of saw this coming because the way he played on Thursday just was it was probably the worst quarterback I've seen of all the games I've watched this year. The worst quarterback play I've seen. Obviously, Cam's not the worst quarterback, but that was absolutely abysmal. He was getting nothing done. All the successful runs were because of just playmakers like Christian McCaffrey and stuff. It wasn't because of Cam at all. But he's not playing against the Cardinals. I mean, if the Panthers can't win this game with the backup, right now, I mean, that's the end of the Panthers season, right? Like, it's safe to say if they don't win this game.
Yeah.
I don't really trust the Cardinals to necessarily win this game either, but Kyler Murray, he's improving every game. Granted, it's only been 2 games, but playing at home, against this decimated Panthers team, that might be a good game for him to start showing out, show what he's made of, see if he could be a star or not. I feel bad for Cam, though. You know what I mean? Like, this is if this is kind of the end of his run, maybe I'm exaggerating it, but that Thursday night game, I can't burn it out of my mind. It was so bad.
It's nowhere near the end of his run. That's absurd.
But if he can't recover properly, if he can't start throwing the football right, they're using less of his legs, and he's less of a mobile quarterback than he used to be. But I don't know if he's capable of being like a Big Ben guy who could throw the ball well enough to stay in the league.
He is. He just needs to be healthy, bro. What they should have done is sit him out all year like they did with Luck, and then he'll be healthy. But they decide they feel like they have a chance every year, so they bring him back as soon as they see hope, and he gets hurt again. Like, it's just bad. Like, I don't know. I don't know what's good with their front office.
Bad for business.
Yeah,
it's bad for business.
He's just out here getting hurt every time. Like, as soon as he gets healthy, he comes back and gets hurt again. Like, at some point, you gotta realize what's going on.
Well, Will Grier will not be starting this week. I guess they don't think he's ready for the NFL. So I think this guy's name is Luke Wilson or something. I really don't even remember off the top of my head. Guy I've never even heard of, though. I kind of want to see Will Grier play because I remember at WVU, he was probably my favorite college quarterback, and I don't really watch college too much, but it was interesting to see how well he was doing. And he was just kind of impressive, and he had a swagger to him, which I liked. So I kind of wanted to see him play, but instead we're just going to kind of have a barn burner game on that 4 o'clock slate. A good game, though, that I'm interested in watching is the Texans-Chargers. I think this is a really important game. I think these are 2 playoff caliber teams. I think both these teams will probably make the playoffs, especially with the Steelers kind of being completely out of it unless they can pull something out of their hat. Malik, who do you got right now being a better team, the Texans or the Chargers?
Texans. It's not even a question.
Not even a debate?
Yeah.
How so, though?
Have you seen the Chargers play the last 2 games?
They got the same exact record, so I don't understand what the difference is.
Horrible, bro. They played horrible the past 2 games.
They played horrible, but they're 1-1, and the Texans
Texans
had a
lost
bad
by a lucky field goal. I don't want to say luck, but Texans
luck.
basically won that game until the last 40 seconds. So they to me they're 2-0.
They almost lost to the Jags too. The Jags had it's a 2-point conversion. That's it. If Jags get that 2-point conversion, they win.
Bro, Texans are the better team. They look better playing the game. That's the better team.
I think
you think Chargers are a better team because you've seen the Chargers at their best. Chargers always start the season off horrible, and then they pick up in the middle of the season. Right now, Texans look like the better team.
No, I said that. I have a friend in my math class currently who we always talk about the Chargers. He's a diehard Chargers fan. And it's kind of common consensus the Chargers start the first 6-7 weeks off slow. I don't understand why. Granted, they have injuries this year, so it makes sense.
O-line right now
they're missing Okung, who's a really good O-lineman. Their defense is missing some pieces, but it's not. That's really not their downfall currently. I think it's just their O-line, and that's kind of led to Phillip Rivers struggling a little bit. He's definitely been questionable as of recently. He only put up 10 points against the Lions. Granted, the field goal kicker missed two field goals, which is. I guess that kind of happens, but Phillip Rivers was pissed about it. But I think they're also missing Tyrell Williams on that as a receiver because what he did last year was he was kind of their deep threat, and he was kind of that guy everyone forgot about because they have the 2, the star wide receivers in Mike Williams and Keenan Allen. They're always going to be open on those slant routes, or if you could just, a little drag route or something, they'll be there. But Tyrell Williams, he kind of distracted the defense because he was always going deep, constantly. Now with him on the Raiders, he's that number 1 receiver on the Raiders currently. And the Chargers, I think they're kind of missing some form of him. I don't think they have a solid number 3 guy right now. And with Rivers, he needs all the help he can get. He's a good quarterback, but he's not mobile. He's not. Man. He's got a running game that they got with Eckler. Eckler's been killing it in fantasy. But they need a number 3 guy, and they need a guy that's fast, really.
I feel that's not really an excuse, though.
It's not.
Because, not a lot of teams have a number 3 guy. He should be lucky he even had that last year. Most teams, there's some teams that don't even have a number 1 guy. Or their number 1 guy is just not even
that good.
Not even comparable to, not even Keenan Allen, Mike Williams. There's some teams where Mike Williams had
a breakout year last year, but so far it's been kind of quiet. But granted, their first 2 games were a little bit tough.
Yeah.
I think the Chargers win this game. I might bet it. We'll see how my best bet goes first at the 1 p.m. game. We'll get into that in 10 minutes or so. But I think the Chargers are going to win this game. I kind of like the Chargers more than Texans. I think the Texans have some problems. I think the real indicator of this game, though, will be if the Chargers O-line can survive the Texas D-line, because
Texas O-line pretty bad, too.
It's bad, too.
Of the O-lines.
But, that's actually a fact. It'll be a battle of the O-lines because the Chargers O-line looked so bad against the Lions, and the Lions aren't really necessarily a team you think of with an impressive defensive front. But it was just, I don't know. They really need Russell Okung back. I don't think of O-line injuries as that serious, especially if it's just one guy. But they desperately needed help. Rams-Browns, we got a Goff versus Baker matchup on the Sunday night primetime slot. Browns got a little bit of hype around them with a good Monday Night Football win. Is this a must-win for the Browns?
Hell yeah. Bro,
they got to win this game.
Yeah, if they don't, all that shit they was talking before the season started, you just look stupid now. You won. All right, you beat the Jets. First of all, you beat the Jets.
With a third-string quarterback.
Yeah, with the backup QB. And, Baker was still looking pretty ugly out there. And, that defense wasn't really, nothing serious. They were doing their job. So they need to win this game.
Well, the Browns' next 4 games, with the Rams included, are the Rams. Then they're on the road versus the Ravens, on the road versus the 49ers, at home versus Seattle, and then they play the Patriots. So, you got to think they might go 2-2, with the Rams, Ravens, 49ers, Seahawks. That's 2-2 is good for them. If they could get 2-2 out of that, that'd be impressive. But there's a chance. I'm not really buying into this, but there's a chance they could lose all 4 of these games.
Yeah,
because
they're going to beat the Niners and lose every other game.
I think they're going to beat the Ravens more so than the Niners.
You just hate the Ravens. The Ravens.
I really don't hate the Ravens. They're just not that good of a team.
They can't beat the Ravens for shit. They beat them last year.
They beat them last year, yeah.
And before that, they kind of sucked before that, but they're not beating the Ravens, bro.
I think they definitely could beat the Ravens. I think that's a game that they could definitely steal, or maybe not beat them, but they could cover a spread. So you got them losing
to the Niners and beating the Ravens?
The Niners are a high-octane offensive team. The Niners might be 4-0 or 5-0 when it comes to that game.
That's insane.
The Niners, they're 2-0 right now. They're playing the beat-up Steelers. The chances of them being 3, the Niners are just getting hotter.
That does not matter, bro. Ravens are better than the 49ers, bro.
Ravens
that's a division
game.
Than the 49ers.
I don't know.
There's no debate
so.
on that. We don't even have to talk about that.
The Niners are 2-0.
Yeah,
the Ravens are 2-0, but the Niners
they didn't beat the Pats. They didn't beat the Chiefs.
Yeah, obviously,
bro. But they're 2-0.
I don't know. This is a must-win game though for the Browns because, like I said, that schedule is looking difficult, and playing the Patriots is not going to be an easy game for them. That's going to be actually a fun game to watch.
Browns and Pats.
Browns and Pats. Yeah, that's going to be an interesting game. I think that's going to be at least Odell.
Odell's going to have
see
a
what
game,
Baker could do. They probably will lose.
Yeah,
if they were at home, it'd be a different story. But they're not. They're at Foxborough. Chances of them winning that.
They're going to get exposed.
But Malik, you got a best bet on the Browns, if I'm not mistaken.
What, this week?
Ooh.
Yeah, you got, or not on the Browns, but in that game.
Oh yeah, I got Rams -3. Because
I got Browns +3. What's up?
Oh,
are you serious? How much, dog? How much? Because that's kind of a crazy bet. You're kind of bugging.
I'll do 15.
All right, I'll do that. On their bet.
$15. You heard it for your first.
Right.
Is that your best bet though, Ty?
I was looking at the bets just now, thinking about what my best bet is. I'm leaning towards that, but get back to me.
All right,
so Ty kind of
well, let's do a quick little recap. So Jarny, he lost last week. He's sitting at 5-6 right now. He didn't win that Baker over 1.5 touchdown bet, which he easily should have gotten, but Baker just didn't do it. Chubb got a touchdown. That's kind of why.
And that's the reason I lost in fantasy.
Yeah,
Jarny, bro.
Jarny kind of fucked up. I'm sitting at 22-11 right now. Looking pretty good. I'm getting my best bet in a second. Malik's at 12-6. He just gave out his best bet on the Rams -3. Ty is 17-6. Jarny's best bet is the Patriots -21.5 this week over the Jets. I think that's an easy bet to win.
Even though it's easy, that's still 21.
It's still crazy.
They can score a bullshit touchdown last minute and he loses.
And
that just sucks.
I don't know if Antonio Brown's playing that game. That's the only concern I would have with all the stuff that's been going on with him. And there hasn't really been any reports saying that he's not playing, but it's kind of hard to think that he would be playing or at least be playing the full game. So we're gonna have to see about that. Honestly, I see the Pats just running the football in this game. and just, like, taking it really easy. And, like, they basically they're going to treat this game as a bye week. They kind of bugged out against the Dolphins. They didn't really have to do all that.
Nah,
so
they had to get AB involved, though.
Yeah.
That was like their preseason game.
They were
this
trying.
Is just like the week off.
I'm sure the Pats just run the football all game. Just let the defense go to work. See if Luke Falk fucks up.
Pick up the fifth-string running back on the Pats.
He really might. This might be a Burkhead week or something like that. All right, so my best bet, I got the Falcons money line plus 120. They're underdogs. They're currently plus 1 or plus 1.5 if you want to get them at that. Don't really worry about it, though. I think they win this game outright. Falcons, they're a streaky team, man. When they're hot, they're hot. When they're cold, they're ice cold. I'm going to ride Matt Ryan here. I know that sounds a little bit crazy, but I think they're just way better than the Colts on a head-to-head matchup. The Colts have a good defense, but I don't really think it's that impressive. The Colts are off a divisional game. That's good. That was a tough fought. I think really Jacoby Brissett, he's been pretty good so far, but I think he's going to start making some mistakes. And this Falcons defense looked pretty good against Wentz. They were getting to him a bunch of times. Wentz was just, pulling shit out of his ass. And that's against a really good O-line with the Eagles. So I think they're going to do the same to Brissett. They're probably going to limit him a little bit and probably make the Colts run the ball. I'm taking the high-octane offense over just kind of a dink and dunk offense in the Colts. And I think the defense, I think the Falcons can do their job to hold them to field goals. I don't know what the Colts situation is with Adam Vinatieri or not, but if he's playing, that's kind of a good thing for us because he's been really off his game. So, if we get lucky and, he's really going to keep missing field goals and extra points, that could benefit us. But if not, if they got a backup, that still benefits us because, a whole new kicker is usually a bad sign. Usually never works out the way it wants to. So I like the Falcons here a lot. That's my favorite bet of the week. I like some other games, but the Falcons are like, to me, that they win this easy, and I'm going to go ahead and say like a 30-16 game. I really like them a lot this week.
Sheesh.
Malik, you got the Rams. That's your bet.
Yeah.
Ty, you got anything, or are you going with the Browns?
You better.
Man, we'll do a fun bet this week for our bet. I'm taking Cowboys minus 23.
Ew. I don't think they cover that.
I hope they do.
We're going to go ahead and hit that off against the Dolphins. Cowboys and hot. Let's see how bad the Dolphins really are this week. That's my bet of the week.
Okay. Browns too or nah?
I'm sorry? No, that's just
for fun. All right. So that's it for our best bets. Let's see if we can continue our hot run. We've been all doing really good, like 22-11, 12-6, 17-6. Like those are good numbers. So if you keep making money, come through. Next Monday, we're going to go into a little bit of the fantasy league that we got going on. Jarny wasn't here this week, so we kind of missed out on that. But as always, thank you guys for tuning in. Be sure to follow us on social media, Twitter and Instagram at TU Sports Pod. We've been getting these tweets off. You could also listen to us anywhere you listen to podcasts, iHeartRadio, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Podbean. There's others. Wherever you get your podcasts, though, you could listen to us. So as always, thank you guys for tuning in. I'm Brock, and I'm out.
I'm Leak, and I'm out.
We're everywhere and we're anywhere. I'm Ty, and I'm out.